Thanks for staying with us. We're going to be having the National President's Academic Staff Union of University ASUU, Professor Emmanuel Ojodeke, who will be joining us in a moment to share his thoughts on this. Good morning, sir. Are you there? Oh, we're having connection issues with him. Let's take a few comments on social media while we are waiting Professor's thoughts on this. Good morning, sir. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
So what are your thoughts on this proposed increase across board for schools, especially those owned by government?
Well, to me, it's not palatable, and that's because nothing has happened to the minimum wage of the average Nigerian, which is 30,000 naira per month. How the children of this set of people, and those who want less than that, are going to pay this fee should be consigned to the government of the Nigerian people. Because invariably, if nothing happens, and this is allowed to stay, many of these children will be forced to leave the system. They just leave the system. And when they leave the system, very angry, they could be a good pool for all these miscreants to recruit for the insecurity we have in the country. So we have to look at all the issues before we start thinking about whether increasing or decreasing or reducing school fees. But I believe that what is happening today is not palatable at all for the average Nigerian who can hardly eat.
Right. Professor, let me stay on you. Go ahead, let me
Yes, okay. So we're talking about universities right now. And for me, I'm just curious to know why, like, if there's an increase in tuition in universities, federal universities across the country, in what way would it improve education? In what way would it help lecturers or motivate them to, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but in what way would it improve education, do you think? And is it so, and you know, the conversation we're also having is, how crucial is university education? If a Nigerian is able to get good quality primary and secondary school education, can he still, you know, move on and become a proper Nigerian citizen? Maybe in a few years, come back when he can afford it.
You see, any country can grow based on the level of education. Where we are today is because we have not given some attention to education. And that's why we're not growing in the world. So if we believe that we should not go to secondary primary school, then we exactly what some of these key foreign countries are doing, are planning to do. Because once you
Hello, Prof. We can't hear you again.
Breaking up.
Hello, Prof.
Hello? Are you hearing me?
Now we can hear you.
We taught everything because we to develop our educational system. We take care of the educational system. So if we allow us to go to school, then we have this country is finished.
Professor.
So we need to Nigeria.
This is really
when I was growing up, people set up. All
right, okay.
We can't hear you. I'm so sorry, Professor. We really, really needed to hear you. Maybe our callers, our producer can call you back. You know,
So we were discussing concerning this is going to be addressing more of the secondary
university. Yeah.
And the lecturers have always complained. In the past 3 months, I have had job applications from somebody has worked with me from January this year. She just graduated from Unilag, and she said for the past 2 years of being in Unilag, she's been working. And I just felt maybe she's just been enterprising. But then I got application from like 5 other people that were still students in Unilag. So I had to ask the last 2, why are all of you in Unilag working while you're in school? He said, we don't really do lectures, we just do our exams. Full time. Like we do test and we do exam. So when I saw that report in the paper today, it confirms the fact that many university lecturers, they will send you what you would do. You will study by yourself at home, and they pass and they finish from school. So why are we deceiving ourselves like we don't know what is really going on in the public schools? That majority of them are not taking lectures. It's even almost better you go to open university where there is a proper structure.
Okay, I'm told the prof is back.
Classes.
Yeah. Prof, I'm told, Prof, let me hold on 1 second. Good morning, Prof, are you still there? Yes, you were telling us earlier, you were responding to Mariam's question.
said that the rate of growth of a country will depend on the standard of your education, of your tertiary education. So if you allow your tertiary education to go, to be destroyed, then you have destroyed the country. All the countries in the world that are doing well, because they have standard education, they believe in tertiary education, they believe on the triple helix, relationship between the industry, the universities, and the government.
Yeah.
And that's why they are growing. But for us, we still not to be interested. Because we have been told by some of these foreigners who will borrow money from always to ensure that our system is brought down so that they keep on loading over us, so that our children keep on going there and pay the huge amount of tuition fee. I will still be falling for it.
Professor,
There has to be a change.
let me rephrase Mariam's question a bit. It's all world over. Education is not cheap. Even those of us that jackpot, we pray through our nose to pay for education. Even the citizens of their own country too have to pay. They have options of not even going to university at all. Many of them don't even bother going to the university. Now, in Nigeria, it's probably have one of the cheapest education because many of our doctors who graduate here go abroad and they don't have to worry about school loans because they just enter the workforce, do their exams, pass, and they're good to go. So in your view as a professor, do you think if we're going to attain any quality education, don't you think that it has to be some kind of counterpart funding from both parents and the schools? Yes, the federal government will do their own part, but shouldn't we also as citizens be ready to also pay somewhat for the high tertiary education?
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. In those countries you are referring to, what's the minimum wage? By their standard, by their minimum wage, is there anybody in U.S. who is a worker who cannot pay school fees?
Yes.
Is there any staff, any worker, government worker in England that cannot pay school fees?
Yeah.
But in Nigeria, when you have minimum wage of 18,000 in your state, 30,000 federal, how can they pay the fee? Two, when you cite those countries, cite Germany. In Germany, do they pay school fees? Is it not free? In Sweden, do they pay school fees? Why are we citing we are citing the one we have to use?
In America alone,
what in Nigeria is less than the minimum wage in the UK and US. So we do not cite those two. But go and look at those countries. They give a minimum of 15 to 20% of their budget to education. We give 5%.
Yeah.
What we are saying that federal government, the parents are already paying. They pay for accommodation, they pay for the upkeep, they pay for books, they pay for all of things, they pay for electricity, pay for medical, they pay for everything. So we don't compare the parents already overpaying. Go and check. So what we should be the government that gives 5% of the budget to education. Which country does that in the world?
Yeah.
So what we're talking about, the parents are already paying. Let the federal government upgrade their allocation to 15 to 20% as other countries, Ghana, Cameroon, South Africa are doing. And then we'll solve this problem. We should not be determined what is indefensible. You are paying man, you are paying somebody more than 50%. If you look at the standard, 133 million Nigerians earn less than $1 a day. They are in poverty. And you want their children to go to school, while your children are enjoying good education outside the country. This we should defend in organized Nigeria because that's how we're having security today. And the more we do it, the more security we'll have in the country.
Thank you very much. Thought we want to ask questions?
Yes. I hear you, sir, and I understand, especially when you mentioned your last sentence, which is the fact that many of the lecturers understand that majority of the politicians who are saying we don't have funds for education have their children studying abroad, getting better quality of education. But with the reality on ground, do you think that it is increasing the school fees alone that will solve the educational challenges that the university system has been facing for a long time? Do you think that would help, or that the government should just increase the funding, or a combination of both?
What the government will need to do is to increase the funding to the world standard, to the African standard. Simple. And two, ensure that that money is well used. Three, ensure that infrastructure are well developed. If you can give 110 billion to senators to furnish their offices and buy equipment, and you are going to give 100 million to Nigerian universities nationwide, what are we talking about? You are giving senators, House of Rep members, 100 billion to upgrade them for those who are just resuming. I know at university you cannot give me, you give me like 11 million a month. Doesn't make any sense. That's our problem, our priority. And we should set our priority right. We are going to spend 200 billion. Last we spend 200 billion every month to feed secondary school and primary school children. Who was fed?
Professor.
So these are the issues I would do. Yes.
Some will also argue that even with the increased fees today of the universities, it is still heavily subsidized. That what federal government is probably asking Nigerians to pay is still very minuscule compared to the real value they probably will be getting. How do you respond to that?
That is not correct. Like I said, go to any university. The students are already paying. When I was a student, I stayed in a hostel. And I was paying minimum. I have access to food. I paid minimum. That was the same country. So what has changed? So it is not correct that go and check. Access to education is to free education. It's there at our institution. Although it's not your teachable. I think they have this problem. What we are saying is a very simple thing. Do what African countries are doing. Give 15 to 20% of your budget to education. Simple. That's what the press, not our colleagues in the press, which will be pushing. Let's do what all African countries are doing. Let's do what the world is doing. Give between 15 and 20% of your budget to education. It's simple.
Okay.
And then leave the rest.
TETFund, how much, I mean, we know how the percentage that goes to TETFund. How is TETFund managed? Is it by the government or is it by the schools or the person? How is that being managed so far? Let me ask you that question.
TETFund is a product of ASUU struggle in 1994. And the structure we put in place then, excuse me, the structure that was in place there, if it was followed, we would have better system today, or better funding, better implementation from TETFund. But that when it was formed, ASUU was going to be part of the board to ensure that the politicians also hijack the whole system. But somewhere we were removed. And today you can go and see what happened in TETFund. But even in spite of that, go to any university today. 90% of the project you are going to see are all TETFund. You can go and check. What the federal government is trying to do is to take care of the salary and then the running costs. The project has been taken over by TETFund, which is a product of ASUU struggle. But situation where the federal allocation to University of Ibadan are running costs a month 11 million. You know what can 11 million do in the University of Ibadan with more than 1 million people? So that is the crisis we are having.
So if ASUU takes control, take back control of TETFund, hopefully there'll be better management of resources, you think?
If ASUU is as conceived in the law, the first law of TETFund, if ASUU is allowed to be there in the board of TETFund, it will upgrade what you have today. Today, I can tell you some university, a contractor tell you this is how much you have. This is how much you have, and this is what you should use it for. Which is not correct. We need to correct that TETFund to ensure that the people get value for the money. This is funding for the public, from the Nigerian people, not from the government. Because it's tax. It's 2% of tax, 2.5% of tax, tax on income of profit of companies. So the government should do its part and will not have problems.
All right.
But there's a need to review how TETFund has been managed in the past 10 years.
Thank you very much, Professor. Professor Emmanuel Oshedeke, thank you very much. National President for ASUU has been speaking with us on his thoughts. And he believes that the federal government must, at a matter of emergency, increase the budget for education. I mean, for a country like ours, you can't continue to have the kind of money we have for education. There has to be priority for education and health. And I've been saying that for years, even on this table.
What really blew my mind this conversation is that we've been looking at the cost of tertiary education through one perspective. It's possible for it to be cheap and free.
Yeah, absolutely. So the money they're saving from subsidy, they should kindly divert it to education and health. That's all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.